Folding phones, we've had them for about 2 or so years, probably a little bit more if I can remember correctly. We've had the Galaxy Fold line, the Z Fold line as the rename. We now have the Surface Duo from Microsoft, their dual screen folding phone. But shifting gears away from all of that, let's go into computers, the PC industry. Let's talk about Surface Neo. There's not a lot of news out about it, but I kind of want to talk about what could be the future of this form factor. What could be the future of using a dual screen device on a laptop scale, such as Surface Neo? So way back in 2016, we had the Lenovo Yoga Book, and the reviews were kind of mixed. Nobody really knew what could be the future of this kind of device. Basically, the Lenovo Yoga Book, as you see in front of you right now, it gave you not a traditional like mechanical clacky keyboard like I have and everyone else has, but it gave you kind of a touch keyboard. I believe it was kind of like e-ink, and it was actually pressure sensitive with up to 2048 different pressure sensitivity levels, so you could actually annotate on it and everything like that. But the cool thing about it was still a yoga form factor, which is a 2-in-1, and you didn't have a traditional keyboard. Now, fast forward a little bit further, then we also have, in 2018, we also had Asus with their Precog concept as well, and that brought a little different to it. I'm not sure exactly whether that was e-ink, but you'll see that in front of you as well, and that device there was similar to the Yoga Book. I guess that's when Asus might have thought that Lenovo was onto something. And of course, as you know, the Yoga Book never really caught on too much. I think when I was in college, like a couple years ago, I saw one of my classmates have the Yoga Book. I didn't know what it was called, but I thought it was really cool. It looked fresh. It looked clean. It looked really good, even though it was kind of smudged up because it was like a touch type of device. But it looked really good. Now, fast forward a little bit more, 2019. We also then, or is it 2019 or 2018, we had the Surface Neo and Duo launches, or their announcements. Obviously, the Duo is out as a phone, an Android phone for small screen form factors. But for the large size form factor, Microsoft announced Windows 10X. Now, Windows 10X, it was originally designed for dual screen form factors, and Microsoft says, even though it's been delayed this year as of 2020, they're going to continue trying to create it for dual screens. But during this current pandemic we're in, they're kind of focusing on single screen use cases for now. So with that, the Surface Neo, their larger size Surface Duo kind of device that runs Windows 10X, was delayed. So my question is, what could we possibly use a device like Windows 10X for, or a OS like Windows 10X for, in the dual screen format? What would I personally use it for? Now, I know before I even get to that, I know that Microsoft said that, or people say that the Surface Neo is kind of, Windows 10X is kind of competing with like the Chromebook crowd, right? It's not supposed to be the traditional desktop experience, and you've probably seen a demo. I think I did a demo on Windows 10X as well on this channel, and it's not supposed to be for the average person that wants to play like Counter-Strike Go or any other game out there. It's supposed to be just for the average person who's going to school and they just need something simple to use. They don't need to install all the apps in the world. They just need the core applications. If that's you, or if you're like my mom, who she doesn't need too much out of her computer, Windows 10X might work because it still has slight familiarity in that when you press the Windows key or the Windows button on the screen, it opens up the start menu, or what looks like a start menu. But it's actually your whole app launcher. It comes with all of your documents and everything loaded on it. But when I tried it out, when I tried Windows 10X, I was kind of confused because, as you know, Microsoft has trouble with apps, right? And no matter what anyone says, I know I'm going to get it in the comments. People need their apps. People are going to always say they need the apps. And even if my sister, who's not tech savvy, doesn't need the apps, if enough trendy people, enough influencers say they need the apps and Microsoft doesn't have it, she's not going to bother touching that device. So Windows 10X, what should we use it for? Where is the need for that kind of thing? Is it only in education, where you don't really need much, you just need to run the usual programs and that's it? And again, they have to be enabled for Windows 10X usage, ARM usage on there. What is it for? And that's where I am with this. So Windows 10X, I think Windows 10X will be cool in that yoga form factor, right? You got two screens right there. Let's say it's not an 8-ink lower one, but it's just a regular screen up there, and you just kind of typing up your reports and whatever you are in school. Let's say you're just like an English major, a business major, where you don't need too much. You just need an average laptop. You're not a gamer. You're just an average human being. If that's you, Windows 10X could work really well. But if you're just even an artist in general that uses Photoshop, if something like Photoshop is not optimized for Windows 10X, it's not going to work. It just won't work for an artist. And also that works as well with engineers where they need AutoCAD and stuff. That kind of power from AutoCAD that you need to run AutoCAD, that's not for you either. I think Windows 10X is for the pure average person. I think Windows 10X, the people who will go for something like the Surface Go, they don't need too much. They just need to run their visual code and things like that for Visual Studio, assuming it works on it. That's probably what Windows 10X is for. That's very specific. I don't know what kind of R&D, like to spend that kind of money on R&D to really get that functioning really well. Let's say this on the other side too. I was saying in my the future for Surface Duo, I said, what if something like Microsoft's smaller phones, because Microsoft said here that they wanted the smallest devices to run Android that they create, and they wanted the larger devices, in the medium devices to run Windows 10X. And then they wanted, obviously, the powerhouse people to run full desktops like I'm running right now, and probably you're running too. And if that's the case, that kind of makes sense. But the question is, how many people are in that one tiny niche that only need like a Chromebook, My parents, yes, they could use just Windows 10X and be perfectly fine. Putting their two apps side by side would be really cool. I remember on the Duo, it was cool, kind of buggy, but it was cool. You could type up your basic things. You open up your tax documents that you need to just type up. Let's say TurboTax. Yes, they have an online version of TurboTax. You can do your taxes on there. You don't need to open up a full program for it. You don't need iTunes. I don't even use iTunes. You don't really watch movies on your computer other than from your web browser. And since Windows 10X is really web-based, with 5G coming, Windows 10X could work. Windows 10X. The layer it fits between is I call it the medium users, right? I call it the medium users in that they are the ones that they don't really need much, but they don't want to work off of a phone or an Android based, like a mobile style interface. They want to work middle ground between desktop and, full based power computer, but they also don't need this giant computer or a giant laptop that's $800. Hopefully Windows 10X can be cheaper. Anything running Windows 10X can be far cheaper. Let's say Surface Go in the future only does Windows 10X. That would be really cool. Single screen, dual screen devices for the Neo. Single screen devices such as the Go would be perfect for Windows 10X. Let's see what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you think? The question of the day. What do you think that Windows 10X and Surface Neo, what are they for? Like, what do you think those could be for? Are those iPad replacements, iPad Pro replacements? I doubt it. What do you think they're for? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know. I'd love to read all of it just to see what you guys think. And lastly, Xbox Game Pass, officially, the cloud gaming era has arrived tomorrow. So you'll see a video on that as well. Or it rather is coming out the day you're seeing this video. So you'll see a double upload today as well. Take care. When you say you love me, but you have somebody else.